going on, everybody? We're going to do a quick, fast and loose sort of made-up watercolor scene, waterfall scene. So let's get right into it. Let's do our usual. Wet the paper. All the way across. And let's put in some raw sienna to get a coating going all the way across. This is a made-up scene. And let's put in a little bit of blue for any little sky we may have up here. And then let's get some water going down here. The faster you do these, I find sometimes that the more natural looking they are. Okay, so we're going to put in put some gray in right here. This is where our waterfall is actually going to be coming down. And then we're going to put in some browns. This is where the rocks are going to ultimately be coming down. Vary up some good browns in here. Just want to look as natural as possible. Some darks up in there. And then same thing for this side. We're going to have a little bit of a rock wall coming down. And then for this, we're going to take and just going to pop in where some jagged rocks would be. Same thing with this side. Then we're going to come back with some darker browns and just pop in underneath to pop out those cliff walls. A little bit of blue, a little bit of ultramarine, a little bit of burnt umber. Take a little bit of green and make up a little green with cad yellow and just put some grasses coming down here. The reason I've left this open is because we're going to do a tree over here, and I want to leave that open so it doesn't get too muddy. I want to really vary up these tones over here. I'm going to put get a little bit of a sandy area in here, where the shore will be. Okay, let's put a little bank back in over here. And just to make it look like there's a little bit more back there, I'm just going to get a little lighter green tones on here. We're just going to pop in some, so it looks like there's something going on back there. Otherwise it won't look very realistic. Back in, we'll just touch up these banks a little bit. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop in a little bank here. Tell you what, we'll bring this all the way across, so there'll be more focus back there. That'll make an easier, quicker bottom to do. A little ultramarine on there, darken that up in there. Some brown, we'll do some rocks in toward the bottom. We'll just take our tool here and we'll just pop in some random textures, some grass, and then come back with our tones, our darker tones, and just sort of pop that out a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a tree right about here. And just put a few little branches started off there. Take our card. Get a little texture on the tree trunk. And just dab off some of that. Then next we'll take our rigger brush. Get it nice and wet. And just pop in a few little branches. This one a little darker. Maybe coming over. Sticks down in here. A little bit of grass over here. Okay, next we're going to come back and wash the brush. Get some cad yellow on the brush. Make sure it's dry. Make sure it's dry. And then darken that up with a little ultramarine blue, a little neutral tint or Payne's gray, and just darken some of that up a little bit. Nice colorful tree there. Now finally, as I see this thing drying, I'm going to get a little bit more darker brown and just add a little more texture to this rock's side. Some browns. Let's give a quick little texture here. I don't want to go too far over because we're going to do a little bit more work with that shortly. Just maybe a little bit more here. Okay, so then next what we're going to do is we're going to take our flat brush. I don't use a flat brush a whole lot, but we're going to start lifting I need a little more water on that brush. We're going to start doing some lifting here. Start building our water coming down. We're kind of working our way up to it. Take the towel. And you can do this as much as you want. If you want to come back with some gray, but the more you do it, the more, you know, it's going to be harder to lift it back to the white. I kind of messed this up a little bit here. We'll fix that later. Just want to look like we got some good flow coming down. This is just a clean brush here. All right, now that we've got that part done, let's come back to our rock wall. And let's go back to getting some brown tones on there. And we're gonna, oh, that's a little too wet. Gonna try extending out some of the cliff rock wall here. So give it a little dimension here. . And then come back to the card and just add some more rocks. And then get a little darker color underneath. Kind of build that up a little bit, which you just did. Okay. Well, this rock wall is supposed to come out a little bit more. This is behind the tree, but just kind of make it look like it does continue over there. Probably come back with a little bit more leaves. Okay, let's give it a little quick dry. Now what you can do at this point is you can leave it like that, or what I like to do, which is considered sacrilege, is I like to take my little bristle specialized brush and I just put a little bit of white on my palette here, on my palette board, and then I take this, get some white on there, and having it dry. And just highlight that crest around, and then bring this down. Leaving some of the gray areas. And then some splashing will happen over here. And a little bit of splashing up on these rocks as well. Try not to overdo it with the white. I tend to kind of do it sometimes if you're using white. It'll stand out on its own. We do want it to look like it's spilling down from somewhere up here. And then the next thing we're going to do is I want to do a little bit more with this water here. So we're going to go back to my smaller hake brush. Wash it off and dry it real good. And we're going to come back with some ultramarine blue. Try to make it a little weak. Now we're going to it's too strong. I want to just intensify this a little bit here. Keep some dry brush it where you have this movement of water here. Adding a little more to the shore here. Put in a few more little grassy areas. And we'll go back to that specialty brush. Give it a quick dry. And then we'll go back to this white again. Just get a little more splashing going on and put a little bit more white on the board. I like using it because I think it really stands out for water. I'll put just a little here. And some splashes up there. Okay, and then finally, take a little pen, we'll put a couple little birds flying away from the scene. And I'll sign it down here. And that's it for our little watercolor waterfall with some white gouache. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.